Hello, my name is Kevin, and this is Malware-analysis-pipeline. So first, let's get into the problem. Malware analysis is hard, especially if this code is obfuscated. This can make the code hard to understand its behavior quickly as a maybe cybersecurity specialist. And if you try to run static analysis, you won't get very much information, and it could lead you having to most likely to actually understand what this file is doing. You might need to run this dynamically, and this could be time consuming. So what did I build? I built a host guest AI-powered sandbox pipeline. We will have a Linux and a Windows 10 VM connected via a shared folder, and this pipeline will automatically run static analysis and safely execute this JavaScript code. And in this case, we will then take that report and pass this to Grok LLM to turn raw results into a readable report. How exactly does this work? So on our host Linux machine, we will then send a obfuscated JavaScript file via a command line utility. On the virtual machine, a guest agent will be polling for any new uploads of a JavaScript file. Once it receives a file, it will first run it through static analysis. It will then execute this JavaScript code via csscript.exe within the virtual environment. And from there, we will then monitor PowerShell's activity and system changes and capture that. Once that is complete, our virtual machine will then send over this report to our host machine, and our host will then send this data to Grok, who will generate an analysis report. And yeah, so let's first get into a quick demo of what this tool is, right? So this is our virtual machine. We are going to start, and in this command line, we're also running an administrator. We will run this command, our sandbox agent, which will start polling for any new file uploads. As you can see, our sandbox guest agent has started, and we are showing some already analyzed files for some test cases, right? And let's now go into our actual Linux host machine. We are going to be passing in this case, an argument, which we can see here is our obfuscated JavaScript file. We will then run sandbox_analyze.py, which is our command line utility, and we'll pass the -force command because I have already generated an analysis of this file. So let's go ahead and do that. As we're doing this here, you can see that we are now waiting for our guest agent to analyze this file. There's some other stuff in here where, before that, let's look at our machine over here, our virtual machine. As you can see, it actually received that file, and it is now executing, because it already completed that static analysis, it is now executing that JavaScript within this virtual machine. This may take some time as I'm using OBS Studio to record this demo, and the VM machine not be running at its full capacity to run this, but while we wait, we can kind of go over a little bit about what's actually going on here, right? At least on our host side. So first we can see hence file created for guest agent. So in this obfuscated code, there's a lot of patterns within this, right? So before we actually even send this file over to our virtual machine, we pass the obfuscated file to an LLM to see if it can find any patterns that may be useful to our agent. As you can see, we got a ping from our threats found. It completed running the file and of the obfuscated JavaScript code, and we are now running a post-execution analysis of this. We are looking at any changes that may have occurred within this time frame that we were running this program, and we are now, filling out, and then in this case, the report. Once this report is done, we will notify, in this case, our host that it has received it, and then once it receives that, it will then pass that output to our LLM to generate an analysis that is easy for us to read and maybe give us a high overview of what to expect, and maybe some some ways to fix this, right? So what are some ways we can tackle it, right? So it seems that we are complete. Our analysis has been saved, and we've got some other information as well. We will now shut down this virtual machine. And as if we go here, we can see that we get our AI analysis. We got some information regarding AES and that it loads a .NET assembly in memory. And yes, we can see some of the JSON information that we got sent over. So here's some PowerShell detailed information. And yeah, the agent is still running, so you can continue. And in this case, I shut down the virtual machine, but the agent will stay continuously running. Obviously, to stay safe, we want to make sure we are not continuously running this machine, and we want to go back to a fresh snapshot of our virtual machine. And this is malware analysis pipeline.